Kazakhstan has chosen the multi-vector integration. Its trends, collisions and prospects are coming up in the Single Market program.
Hello, my name is Pavel Koktushev, and you're watching Single Market. Kazakhstan cooperates with many international financial institutions. Partnership with some of them was established in the very first year of the republic's independence, and the World Bank is among these partners. This year celebrates 25 years from the moment when large investment projects started being implemented in Kazakhstan under the support of this institution. Natalia Romanenko will talk about the nuances and prospects of cooperation with the World Bank.
We're encouraged to see stronger.
The World Bank Group is one of the key partners of Kazakhstan in granting loans and rendering technical assistance. The history of their cooperation has begun 25 years ago. Over this period of time, 48 projects amounting to over $9 billion have been realized in the Republic under the support of this international organization.
From infrastructure projects, building roads, to reforming education, to helping the government, privatizing certain sectors. We have worked a lot with the government on doing business indicators. It has really been a broad-based cooperation.
The first loans issued by the World Bank were aimed at the support of structural transformations, rendering technical assistance in privatization issues, execution of reforms in the financial sector, transition of enterprises to market relations, and shaping of the social protection policy. The raw materials potential of the country was taken into account, first and foremost the hydrocarbon sector, because at that transition stage it was exactly this sector that helped the economy of Kazakhstan to grow its muscles. In the beginning of the 2000s, once the market relations had already been established, the country's priorities shifted towards the implementation of socially important initiatives. The World Bank supported Kazakhstan in those aspirations. It provided its assistance in the rehabilitation of the northern part of the Aral Sea. Arid lands management has become a project of equal importance. It was implemented in a pilot mode on the territory of the Shetsk district of the Karagandar region. Its main purpose was to show that with having recovered the abandoned lands while striving for establishing sustainable agriculture, it is possible to simultaneously solve three problems: ecological, economic, and social. By the way, the philosophy of the World Bank itself is based on the ambition to render such assistance, which can create a multiplier effect and bring a country closer to prosperity.
It is now an upper middle income country. Poverty has been reduced dramatically. It has standing in the world in terms of its geopolitical policies. It has become an important country, but there is still work to be done, not just because of failures in the past.
These prerequisites laid the foundation for Kazakhstan's transition to the next stage, when projects that lay the groundwork for the country's prosperous future become a priority. These include the construction of the automobile road, Western Europe, Western China. The World Bank invested into the longest part of Kazakhstan's section, a length of 1,500 kilometers. The project is now at the stage of completion.
But the ultimate goal is to create more value added inside Kazakhstan. It is not good enough to have just a very fast transfer of goods from China to Europe. You have to take advantage of these connections in the form of new cities where again young people can add value and can connect to the rest of the world.
In order to achieve these goals, one needs very precise benchmarks and a clear strategy. And they are now being developed within the framework of a comprehensive analysis of Kazakhstan's economy. The World Bank announced its interim results several months ago at the 10th Astana Economic Forum. The expert group identified 4 key factors which, under the condition of a completed supercycle fluctuations of the raw materials market, would be able to ensure growth for Kazakhstan. The first of them is macroeconomic management that is focused on the development of non-raw material sectors which can become competitive through diversification.
there are several sectors that were very difficult to develop in the past because of high oil prices, which makes the rest of the economy no longer competitive. There's almost nothing you can do about that.
In addition, according to experts, it is necessary by all means to support the private sector. It is precisely the small and medium business sector that is capable of becoming an anchor for Kazakhstan's economy.
The third element is Kazakhstan is a very positive, very interesting geographic location. So the opportunities of that geographic location, being at the crossroad between the east and the west and the north and the south, is very important.
And finally, the fourth direction, which is considered in the country's comprehensive analysis, development of human capital. The analysis of the labor market revealed that about half of the able-bodied population worked in the informal sector of the economy and is included in the self-employed category.
The idea is for these individuals to be able to work more in a more connected manner. So they're isolated. You want to connect people. So it is about in the future to make sure that the small enterprises become medium-sized and the mediums become larger.
To have all these target aims achieved, experts believe the country should take on board the format of a creative economy, which suggests the use of digital technologies, green economy principles, and the unlimited potential of human capital. And the World Bank, based on the positive experience of its cooperation, is ready to provide Kazakhstan with whatever support in this journey.
Countries will be very happy with this event.
Whether you want it or not, whether you dislike anything related to cryptocurrencies, you will have to put up with this. Likewise with the fact that the weather on this market changes very fast. The Bitcoin easily overcomes one barrier after another and then suddenly plummets to its depths. And by all appearances, such collisions will continue happening. So this begs the question, how to react to all of this from a state interest point of view? Our analyst Alexander Galiev brings us the report. It would be wrong to state that leading financial institutions are impartially observing what is going on. 6 of the largest global banks entered the project on the development of a cryptocurrency. And starting from 2018, they're going to conduct financial transactions using this digital money. Those in the Eurasian integrated space also understand that it is necessary to take the bull by the horns. For example, the head of the investment and corporate business of the Sberbank, Igor Bulantsov, believes that if Russia creates a crypto-ruble, it will become the most advanced state in the world. But our partners in the Eurasian Economic Union realize it will not be that easy to achieve, because this will require the changing of a huge number of laws in order to introduce this innovation. By the way, Kazakhstan is going to set up an innovation blockchain research center within the Astana International Financial Center, which, as is known, will be located on the territory of the Expo. But so far, regulators and lawmakers both in Russia and in Kazakhstan are looking at the cryptocurrency boom with undisguised concern. According to the experts of the Central Bank of Russia, cryptomania, as it is now, is leading to the formation of financial pyramids. And in Kazakhstan, the Majlis of the parliament sent a suggestion to the Republican National Bank to start regulating the sphere of blockchain technologies and cryptocurrencies. By the way, some countries have already started introducing restrictions on the circulation of virtual currency. China, for example, issued a special resolution demanding to close down all stock exchange trading in cryptocurrencies. Though we should know that this is quite a painful strike, as the Celestial Empire is currently the main world center of cryptocurrency flows. Another side of the cryptocurrency issue is energy consumption. They claim that the world miners spend more electric energy on Bitcoin production than some countries consume. And a concrete figure is given, about 14.6 terawatt-hours. You need to take into consideration that the bulk of the global energy is generated in a way that is far from environmentally friendly. And this is nothing to be happy about. And now about something really funny. The general-wide cryptomania sometimes takes on grotesque forms. There is an idea to manufacture a washing machine which will mine cryptocurrencies when it is not being used for laundry. And this is not a joke. The Chinese company Midea Group is planning to install chips for mining into domestic devices. And moreover, within this project, the company is going to create a large-scale network for Bitcoin's production. And instead of a summary, restrictive measures regarding the new virtual currency, of course, can be implemented just within the confines of one country. But the cost of this will be too high. It is possible to hopelessly get behind the trends in the research of blockchains, which are predicted as a promising technological future. Here it is appropriate to recall an old English proverb: if you cannot fight, then lead. And this message is food for thought. That's all from me. My name is Alexander Galiev. Until next time on Single Market. Armenia is one of the 5 member countries of the Eurasian Economic Integration. And unlike the other countries of the Union, it does not share common borders with the Eurasian Economic Union partners. Nevertheless, this has not impeded the country from achieving certain successes on the export arena. That is why there is a reason to study Armenia's experience in entering foreign markets and find out about the prospects of development of trade and economic relations with the integration partners. Our correspondent in Yerevan, Elina Kazaryan, brings us the report. Armenia signed the agreement on the joining of the Eurasian Economic Union on October 10th of 2014 and became a full-fledged member on January 2nd of 2015. The beginning period, just as for the other member countries, was set in quite difficult circumstances. The worldwide fall in production levels, exchange of sanctions between Russia and the West, and the devaluation of national currencies. However, in just a year after entering the new union, the economy of Armenia received an accelerating boost. In 2016, its export levels to third countries, in comparison with last year, increased by 13.3% and reached a level of $1.4 billion. We are seeing that this export is leading to the growth of industrial and agricultural production. It is enough to note that at the beginning of this year, Armenia is practically a leader in the growth rate of its industrial production, at least 13% in comparison with the same period of last year. At the same time, the share of high-technology products in the export portfolio of Armenia was 12%. As a comparison, across the Eurasian Economic Union, on average, the share of such products on the export market is 8.8%. According to experts, IT companies have provided an impetus to this process. Today, there are 400 IT enterprises in Armenia.
We know
that Armenia has achieved great success in this sector. We must think further how to expand Kazakhstan's and Armenia's cooperation. This will not require wide open borders. It does not need any other conditions in place which are connected with the openness of borders. The agricultural and food sector are also part of fast-growing sectors. In the last 2 years, the export of agricultural products increased by 6% and reached more than $260 million. At the same time, there is a qualitative and quantitative rise in enterprises which produce agricultural products. For example, the total area of greenhouse production sites increased 6-fold, and their high harvest levels are ensured by the latest technologies. Fruits, vegetables, alcoholic and non-alcoholic beverages. Armenia's high-quality goods are confidently conquering the Eurasian market. Armenia's successes in exports are forcing the Eurasian economic partners, despite the absences of common borders, to search for opportunities to realize joint projects. On the other hand, the specificities of the current new realities must be taken into account. The time of borderless communication, when long distances are no longer a barrier, opens up new windows of opportunities for businesses. We started thinking about having a bigger presence on Kazakhstan's market. The new flight that was launched, Yerevan-Astana, in addition to the existing Yerevan-Aktau-Almaty, reflects this. The development of transport communication within the Union is accompanied by more visionary plans. We're talking about the Perspective project that will be realized on the border with Iran. Armenia today, as the closest neighbor of the Islamic Republic, on behalf of the Eurasian Economic Union, is conducting talks on the creation of a free trade zone. And this trust speaks of the new level of integration. I think that at this stage we have already seen certain results of becoming members of the Eurasian Economic Union, which are connected with the rise in trade turnover. At the moment, Armenia is transitioning to the second phase. It must be admitted that the entrance of Armenia into the Eurasian Economic Union was regarded ambiguously within the country. Today, when there are already interim results, a relative assessment can already be made. Today, when there are already interim results, a relative assessment can be made. Had Armenia not entered the Eurasian Economic Union, the aggregate loss to its economy, according to experts from Armenia, would reach approximately $1 billion. This figure was calculated taking into account the 30% tariff level on the gas from Russia and those advantages which the country has been able to use in their favor within the framework of the integration, the free movement of their export products and labor power. Elina Kazaryan, Tigran Galstyan, Gurgen Vardanyan, exclusively for Single Market from Armenia. If we think rationally, then the sector of raw materials in itself cannot be the weak link in the economy. It is all about the creation of its value added. When there is a long and closed chain of various processes, from oil extraction to oil processing, raw materials become the key element in efficient production. An aluminum production cluster is being established today in one of Kazakhstan's regions. Oleg Boldarev found out which enterprises it is uniting and how did it manage to become competitive on the global market. Aluminum is the most widely used metal. However, in nature, aluminum appears not in its pure form, but only as an oxide. Therefore, aluminum production entails a very complex and multi-stage process that begins with the mining of bauxite ore. Exactly 60 years ago, the first tons of bauxite ore were mined from the Turgai minefield, a town near the city of Arkalyk. In principle, this was the start of the development of the aluminum cluster. The Aluminum of Kazakhstan Corporation is engaged in the development of the Turgai minefield. The holding's assets consist of few industrial enterprises, including the Pavlodar aluminum plant. It processes the bauxite into aluminum oxide. Alumina is another quite prosaic name of this chemical compound. Alumina production happens in three main facilities. These are the raw material processing shop, the hydrometallurgical shop, and the backing shop. This is the traditional method of obtaining alumina from bauxite by leaching using strong lye solutions. Kazakhstan's alumina enjoys great demand on the global market. Therefore, the production volumes of the Pavlodar aluminum plant have already been projected for the next few years. The Pavlodar aluminum plant produces 500,000 tons of alumina per year. One part, almost 1 million tons of alumina, is exported to the Rosala company in Russia. About 500,000 tons is sold to our clients in Kazakhstan. This includes the more than 400,000 tons, which is purchased by the Kazakhstan electrolysis plant. Kazakhstan's electrolysis plant is the second link of the aluminum cluster, which is currently forming in the Pavlodar region. It is the only enterprise in the country that has mastered the production of high-purity aluminum. At the London Metal Exchange, such aluminum is globally branded as A995.
Это одни из лучших показателей не только по СНГ, но и в мире.
We have the best performance in terms of production rates, coefficients of material consumption, both in the CIS and worldwide. Overall, we're in the leading positions. This is all thanks to modern technologies and the automation systems that we have at our plant. Kazakhstan's aluminum enjoys great interest in other countries. Therefore, a large share of this plant's product is exported. 57% is exported to Europe and non-CIS countries, 21% is exported to Russia, Belarus, Ukraine, and Uzbekistan. High export positions are maintained even during a period that was difficult for the global industry. Kazakhstan's electrolysis plant manages to do this due to the optimal price of raw materials that was set here after the launch of the UPNK PV company on the Special Economic Zone in Pavlodar. Co-calcination unit is operating here, and this company serves as the third link in the aluminum cluster. Localization of aluminum production in Kazakhstan became the objective of our project. About 50% will be supplied to the Kazakhstan electrolysis plant, and another 50% will be exported. The fourth link of the aluminum cluster is the company Kazenergokabel. It uses aluminum to produce rolled wire and other product items for the energy sector of Kazakhstan. And finally, the chain is closed off by the aluminum alloys plant. This new enterprise recently commenced its operations on the territory of the Pavlodar Special Economic Zone. In the end, gradually a sectoral cluster started forming, which includes 5 independent production enterprises. and this comprehensive format allows Kazakhstan's aluminum sector to be competitive on foreign markets. Oleg Boldarev, Bakhajan Bakhiyev, exclusively for Single Markets. That's all for me. My name is Pavel Koktashev. Kind reminder, all the episodes of our program are available on www.kazakh-tv.kz. Until next time on Single Markets.